Hey, what's up everybody? Social Reefer here and welcome to my YouTube channel. Now, before we get into today's topic of conversation, I just want to give a huge shout out to all the people that have shown me support up to this point on my channel. To all the newcomers on my channel, the last couple videos that I've made have had a lot of engagement, and we all know that that's the reason why I create these videos. It's for engagement, to pass down the knowledge that has helped me get this far in the hobby, and not only to teach you guys, but to also learn from you as well. I'm fairly new to the hobby, and I'm not a Mr. Know-It-All. I'm still learning as we go, obviously, and I don't consider myself to be better than anybody else. But I do consider myself to be very honest, to pass down information that I believe can help you guys out, especially if you're newer to the hobby or you're thinking about getting into the hobby. So if you're coming across this video and you're new to my channel, please don't forget to hit that thumbs up, subscribe, and stay tuned for, future content. But yeah, let's get right into it. The other day, I was having a conversation with a fellow reefer buddy of mine, and it dawned on me during the conversation. It's not something that we spoke about, but it just struck me. And I was thinking, like, if you pay attention to all the influencers out there, the people that inspire you to want to get into the hobby, the ones with these amazing tanks, with the best equipment and all of that stuff, you come to find out that a lot of the times they're selling you something. And I'm not here to say that there's something wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that at all, obviously, because a lot of the stuff that they're selling you is actually very helpful. More likely than not, whatever it is that they're selling you will help you be more successful in this trade. And I was thinking, I'm not there yet. Maybe one day in the future I will be one of those people when you come across my page that you will see like, hey, buy this, buy that, whatever. But I'm not. So I was thinking, what is it that I can offer to my viewers? What is it that I can provide them with that is priceless, you can't buy, yet it is still very essential for your success in this hobby? And it all boiled down to observational skills. When you get into this hobby, mastering observational skills will help you become more efficient. It will help you become a better problem solver. And it will help you focus on things that are more important. For example, learning the characteristics of your fish and your coral. Fish have certain diseases. A trained eye, by looking at fish, would know something is wrong with them. Ick is one of those fish diseases that a trained eye would catch on to right away, right? How will you catch on to it right away? Well, the most obvious symptom of ick is the little white spots. But sometimes the white spots are not visible. And sometimes you see your fish acting different than what they normally do, like scratching themselves on rock or on your substrate and things of that nature. Now, when you see them doing it on a consistent basis, regularly, that tends to give you a sign that something is wrong and you need to take some type of action in order to correct it. With corals, it's, in theory, the same thing. Corals have certain characteristics and traits that make them behave a certain way. And when they're behaving out of character, you need to learn how to observe the difference between when they're not happy, when they're going through a transitional stage, so on and so forth. The best example that I can give you that's coming to mind right now would be with torch corals. When they're happy, they're obviously very open. You can see that nice juicy white flesh on the bottom and moving all over the place with some nice smooth flow, right? And I know you guys are looking at my tiger torch. If you're familiar with how it looked before, it doesn't look the same. That is correct, but I already know why it's like that. Just to give you a quick side story about this torch, before I put it on the spot that it is now, it used to be where this 24 karat torch is here. And that tiger torch was glued directly onto the rockwork. So being that it was directly glued onto the rockwork, I had to move it because there was some coral warfare between the torches, and the other torches surrounding my tiger torch were stinging it. And the tiger torch was closed up and not as open as it usually is. So I realized, by observing the situation, that I had to move it or else it would have gotten worse. So in the process of detaching it from the rock, since it was glued on directly to the rock, I damaged the coral. I actually damaged it a lot. It really sucks because I'm not used to it looking this way. It was a very beautiful torch. So I'm hoping it gets back to how it was. But in terms of it being as open as it can, that's what it is right now. Right now it's kind of thick, so you can't see the flesh. I could see it with my eye, but I can't get my camera to cover it. But there's definitely flesh down there and it's open. But yeah, observing these things will help you come up with better solutions to your situation. It doesn't always have to be a problem. Sometimes being hands-off is the best remedy. When torch corals are splitting, for example, during the process that they go through while they're splitting, torch corals normally don't open up as much as they normally do. And for the untrained eye, you would think like, oh, there's something wrong with it. For the past few days, it hasn't been as open as it is, etc., etc. When in fact, if you observe your corals regularly, with time, you will learn that when they're going through that phase, not all, but I'm telling you from my experience, not all torches open up as much as they normally do. And sometimes they develop these little air bubbles where the split is going to begin, and it doesn't look natural. So having a keen trained eye is very important. So how do you develop these skills? Every day during the moments that you're admiring your reef, try to make it a habit to look at every single coral. Try to pay attention at what time of the day you're looking at your reef. And try to take mental notes of how they normally are during those periods of time. Knowing these things will allow you to detect whether they're going through a change, whether they're stressed out, and if there is anything that you have to do during that period of time, you can take proper action instead of guessing what's going on. So, guys, I hope that kind of opened your mind up towards, how important observational skills are. Learning the different characteristics and traits of every living thing in your reef will allow you to take proper actions if needed and get to a more proper, solution than if you don't. Sometimes we get so caught up with the beauty of the tank and we're enjoying it that by the time we realize something is wrong, it'll take a lot more effort to get things to bounce back than if you had a trained eye to begin with and you could have caught it at a much earlier stage. So when you're enjoying your reef, for a few minutes, don't forget to, lock in, give every single piece of coral that's in your reef a couple seconds of your attention. Learn them, learn their habits, and learn how to understand what time of the day it is while they're like that. I know how my corals are when the lights are on in the middle of the day, how it is when the lights begin to ramp up, how they are when the lights begin to ramp down, how they are when the lights are completely off. I like to observe my tank during all hours of the day, just out of curiosity, because I like to know, their behaviors. And it's easier said than done, but the more time you spend with your reef, the more time that you pay attention to your reef, the more you get to know them. And it's sort of like it's speaking to you in a sense. Like right now, my reef is telling me I'm happy because I've been keeping everything in my reef very happy for the most part in recent time. Now, I don't take that for granted. I still go about my proper maintenance protocols. I still go about checking my parameters, not as often as the average person does, to be honest, but I at least check my parameters once a month to see where I'm at. Lately, I've been testing more often than not because my alkalinity has been fluctuating more than I like. And it's all because my corals have been growing a lot. So I've been trying to find a sweet spot so I can manage it and maintain it where it's supposed to stay. But yeah, guys, I hope that you guys could get something out of this. Remember, the key is to have good observational skills. And that is something that you cannot buy anywhere. It's a skill that you gain from experience by spending time with your reef, and it's priceless. It's a priceless skill to have a good eye and to have a good understanding of when something is wrong just by looking at it. I hope you guys could take this and use it, and I hope that it pays off for you in the long run. And as you guys already know, thank you very much for showing me the love and support that you always do. I really, really appreciate it. And until the next one, subscribe to my channel, social_reefer. That's also my Instagram. If you guys want to check out my Instagram, I try to post daily, but I definitely post there more consistently than I do here on YouTube. But yeah, man. Thank you guys, and until the next one, peace out.